Welcome back. Our trading on the oil and gas stocks were pretty quiet on Friday. Most of the stocks were unchanged, but for Forte Oil and Oando, which dropped in prices, Forte Oil dropped by 0.98% to close at 47 naira 95 kobo, while Oando closed at 5 naira 5 kobo, down 0.79%. Now, for the weekly index return, of course, was up 0.70%. The year to date went down 7.08%, and price to earnings 17.3. Dividend yield was at 2.2%. Well, let's look at the latest development in the oil and gas sector. The Organization of Petroleum Exporting Countries says crude oil output increased in Nigeria within the month of February, while production in Saudi Arabia, Iraq, UAE, and Angola showed the largest declines. The organization, in its February monthly oil market report, said crude oil production in Nigeria rose from 1.550 million barrels per day in January to 1.608 million barrels in February. Let's look at this with oil and gas analyst at Ecobank, Jubril Karim. Good morning, Jubril. Thank you very much for joining us. 1.608 million barrels per day is what Nigeria's oil production is. That's at February, according to OPEC's report. Now, with a target of 2.2 million barrels per day, how cheering is this report by OPEC?
Well, if you look at the whole report, actually, it says Nigerian production currently at about 1.608 million, but we should not mistake this, that the projection that the Nigerian budget usually incorporate includes some form of other liquids, like condensate and so on. So for this is based on plain crude oil, and even last month, the NNPC Minister of State for Petroleum stated that Nigerian production is now closer to 2 million barrels. That means if we had what we have from crude oil production of about 1.6 million barrels, and we have other NGL and other liquids, we should be getting close to that. So the targets being set by for the NNPC is quite different from what OPEC is reporting.
Now, Angola, as Africa's largest oil producer, is presently pumping about 1.659 million barrels per day. Do you see Nigeria, as it is, surpassing Angola anytime soon, considering the environment?
Well, with indication that avocados should be back online very soon, it's very key that we see. I think this is just a short-term thing. It's not really sustainable in the long term. Nigeria production has been really hampered by activities in the Niger Delta, and all those activities have died down. They are taking a new turn in terms of negotiation. The federal government just reviewed a new plan for the whole amnesty to rebrand the whole amnesty program, and we think this should even work better for the industry. So as we begin to have all this production come back online, Nigeria we are still expected by middle of the year to surpass Angola and become Africa's largest crude oil exporter again.
Now, aside from the issue of militancy, what do you consider another issue that should be dealt with in bringing Nigeria's production capacity to 2.2 million barrels per day?
Well, aside from that, I think a lot of investment into the industry has been hindered by a lot of uncertainty regarding investment into that space in Nigeria, and we still continue to have those uncertainties linger on for some time now. So what this means is that investment into development of new fields have been pushed back. We just said Shell is pushing back another development to 2018 again. So what that means is that as much as Nigerian current production can still match up to the projected 2.2 million if we had other form of liquid to it, in the long run, if all these policies are not sorted out so that investments can drive new development, what we will have is a continuous slight decline in production on yearly basis. So I think it's more important to focus on the long run and sort out all the issues regarding most importantly the petroleum industry bill, as well as it relates to investment into the oil and gas industry.
Now, you did mention the amnesty program, but then there are some reports that the amnesty program faces cash crunch. Do you see this as a possible threat to the oil sector again?
Well, the amnesty program is being funded by the federal government. So if you're saying the amnesty program is facing the cash crunch, it's not an independent body that is generating its own cash flow. It's being funded by the federal government. So if it's facing cash crunch, are you saying the federal government is facing a cash crunch? So I think that's just a form of sensational reporting, because if the federal government still wants to continue with the amnesty program, what the federal government needs to do is to fund the amnesty program.
Okay, if Nigeria does ramp up its oil production, do you see that having any impact on OPEC's output cut deal?
Well, if Nigeria should be able to return about 200,000 barrels to the market right now, you note that prior to the deal, prior to when the deal was, and prior to when Nigeria started experiencing all the issues in the Niger Delta, Nigeria was exporting close to 2 million of crude oil only. So I think Nigeria will want to get to that level before it becomes a concern for OPEC. And currently now, from what we have from secondary sources, we have crude oil production from all OPEC members still trended downwards about 139,000 barrels for the month of February. So it seems that production are still falling and still in line with OPEC production. But in the long run, if eventually Nigeria surpasses the 2 million barrels a day mark, then we might be able to, then we can start talking about joining the production cut. For now, it's more important. The most important thing is about getting production to pre-attack levels.